I promise you, if you review what it is that I just went through, those are the exact steps. And those relationships helped be the gateway to me buying 23 houses in the first 12 months. Welcome to the Ryan Rice Show, where we talk about what we learned yesterday that we can apply today so that we can be better tomorrow. I hope you enjoy and subscribe. I want to talk about how to find deals without spending substantial money on marketing. I think this can be especially helpful if you're first getting started and you don't know where to start. You want to get a few deals under your belt. And this is exactly what I did to find a whole bunch of deals when I first got started. So nothing I talk about is theory. In my first year in real estate, I bought about 23 houses, all of which I bought without any dollar spent on marketing. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did that in the event that that's helpful. And even if you are spending money on marketing now, this can still be a very, very good acquisition source. Who am I? My name is Ryan Rice. I'm a real estate investor. I'm in my fourth year investing in real estate full time. I did 40 deals last year. And I share this stuff in the event that it's helpful for you and so that you can get some of the learnings without the scars that I've had. So how we buy deals at volume without any marketing spend is we're going to leverage the MLS and we're going to buy off wholesalers. And we're going to cover three things. First, if you haven't even gotten started and you don't have a deal, we'll cover very quickly where to geographically launch. We will cover how to set up your acquisition team. And we will then cover how to use technology to your benefit and how to generate leads with that technology. So first, if you don't have a deal and you want to get started, I recommend picking your backyard market, which is where you live. Or let's say you live somewhere a little bit more rural, you can pick the closest metropolitan area. And my experience has been that as long as an area has about 200,000 households or up, it can be an area where you do deals. And the reason for that is because what you need when you're buying is simply data on what homes are going to be worth, which means the more homes there are, the more data that you're going to be having. And if people are buying and selling houses in a metropolitan area, you're likely going to have that data. And that's the most important thing you need. You need comps. And it's very simple. You can Google the population in the closest area and see how it stacks up. And if you want to start to accumulate rentals, then the probability for an area to have houses that will appreciate is going to be greater if there are more people moving into that area than moving out of. So kind of a secondary statistic that you can look at is just move in, move out data. Again, another thing that you can Google and just see if the area that you want to invest in has more people moving out of or more people moving into than out of. And the benefit of picking your backyard market is that you can go to meetups in person, you can meet local investors, you can meet local real estate agents, you can meet contractors there. It's a great, local meetups are a great place to start to build your network and build your power team. So the second step here in how to buy deals at volume without any marketing spend is setting up your acquisition team. And your acquisition team is going to be made up of real estate agents and wholesalers. And we're going to start with real estate agents. So when you're reaching out to real estate agents, you have to know, especially in the beginning, that it's simply a volume game. And the more real estate agents that you talk to, the more deals that you're going to have set your way, and the higher the likelihood that you're going to find someone that you can work with consistently. And if you have no idea where to start and you want to start somewhere, then what you can do is just go to Zillow. On Zillow, there's a button called Agent Finder, and you can just type in the city of where you want to start investing, and pages and pages of real estate agents are going to pop up. And a couple of pro tips here. The agents on the first couple pages, they are likely well established. They might be paying for ads to be on those front pages. They might do high volume. And if you're first getting started, you might not be able to provide enough value to them that would be enticing enough for them to want to work with you. Why? Because they don't really have to do much lead generation, right? They're getting leads left and right. Their business is flowing to them. They've been in the business for so long that the incremental time that they'd have to spend with a newbie might not be worth just spending time on the existing leads that they have. And so what you can do is you can start to go to like pages 3 and 4 and beyond. And there you're going to start to see agents with fewer reviews, they'll do less volume, and those agents might need you more than the best agents will, which is going to increase the probability of those agents being willing to work with you. And another small tip that you can do, and this is actually something I did to find one of my very first agents that I worked with, is if you see agents on Zillow that have bigger teams, in other words, it's the John Doe team and then they have 5 agents working under them. A lot of times those agents working under them might have less experience and they may have capacity to work with you. And that could work out really well because you might have somebody that has the capacity, they might be hungry, they might be looking for leads, and they have a mentor in their team lead who is likely a killer agent that they can be a sounding board for. And so you can kind of get the best of both worlds there. You have an agent who has access to someone who is really good and experienced, but you have somebody who's hungry and has time on their hands because they are a newer agent and they might have less volume going on and have more capacity. So when you reach out to these real estate agents, what do you say to them? Because you're going to cold call all these agents, right? Well, first, it helps if you do a little bit of homework. So read through their Zillow bio and mention something that you read in there when you reach out to them, right? So, let's say you find John Doe, real estate agent. Hey, John, this is Ryan. I came across your profile on Zillow and I was really impressed, or I was really intrigued with, in your bio, you talk a lot about working with investors, and I like what you said about just how much you prioritize taking care of your clients, because I've come across a lot of real estate agents who seem to prioritize making money, and that led me to reach out. Do you work with investors? And a lot of people are going to say no, right? And that is perfectly fine. Again, this is a volume game. But let's say that they do work with investors. Okay, great. I'm hoping to close on at least one flip in the next couple of weeks, and I'm looking for an agent that I can help them make some money while I make some money doing flips. And any agent who brings me a deal, I'm happy to list it with them on the back end, but ideally we can just repeat that over and over. And again, I picked you because it seemed like we might have similar values based on what you wrote, and we might mesh well. Are you interested in that? And assuming that they're interested and they want to work with investors, okay, cool. Well, hey, what's worked well with me in the past is if you want to send me a couple deals that you feel might be good or worth us looking at, we can start there. And let me grab your email and I will email you so you have my contact info, and then you can shoot me over a couple deals and we can start there. How does that sound? And, they'll say, okay, cool, sounds good. And you can say, hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being open to a new relationship. When do you think I might expect the properties that you send, just so I can make sure I block my time and I can allocate my time and I can get back to you super quick, right? So you're doing a few different things there. In the beginning, you're talking about how you want to make them money. And while you're obviously trying to accomplish something, you're trying to keep their best interests in mind, and you bring that up. You're also bringing up that if they bring you a deal, you'll list it on the back end, or you'll let them list it on the back end. So another plug for something that they likely want, which is to do deals, make money. And a big thing you're doing there is you're doing homework. And they're going to acknowledge and recognize that you read through their bio and that you picked out a couple things and you got to know them a little bit before you robocalled them. And that's going to go a long way because you did your homework and you had a little bit of preparation. Even if it was literally 15 seconds of preparation reading through their bio, they're going to appreciate that you noticed something that they had wrote in there and you're calling that out. Another thing you're doing is you're saying something so simple, but hey, I appreciate you being open to a new relationship, right? That comes across that you're conscientious and you're aware that they picked up a call from a stranger and they're willing to invest their time, and you're acknowledging and you're appreciating that. And then lastly, you are kind of setting some expectations or getting an idea of when they can send you some properties. And you're doing this for a couple of reasons. One, so you actually know, but two, to kind of set an expectation so that they're giving you a commitment. So that is going to increase the likelihood that they actually send you these properties because they're verbally committing that to you. And notice the way that you asked was, hey, when do you think I could expect the properties, just so I can ensure I block my time appropriately? You're not asking like, hey, when are you going to send me the deals, right? Even though you're accomplishing the same outcome, you're making it more about like, hey, I want to make sure I have enough time or I block the appropriate time to reach out to you. When do you think I could see them? If when you reach out to these real estate agents, if they don't answer, if you leave a random intro voicemail, my experience has been that the probability they call you back is lower. But if you do something like, if you've done research on an area or a neighborhood and you have a property in mind that you'd like to put an offer on, that could be kind of a hack. And you could essentially do some research and have this one property queued up for all of the agents as part of your script when you're reaching out. So if you have your eyes on this property, and they don't answer, you can just leave a voicemail and say, hey, my name's Ryan. I'm an investor in an area, and I'd love to put an offer on a property with you. And if something like that interests you, it's in this neighborhood, and I'd love to put an offer as soon as I can. And I'm curious if you're interested in helping, and no worries if you're not. But if so, let me know. We can get it rolling. And that, in my experience, has increased the likelihood that you'll get a call back if you leave a voicemail. And another small thing that you'll notice that I do there is like, hey, no worries if not, right? Because when we say, hey, no worries if you're not interested, it kind of elevates our status, and like it comes across like we don't, we're not desperate for you. We don't need you. But if you are interested, then reach out. And that, in my experience, has just increased the likelihood of them responding, as opposed to like, hey, I have this, great offer that I want to put in on this property. Give me a call back. I'm looking forward to talk to you. Right? If, hey, no worries if you're not interested, that's totally cool. But if you are, reach out and just let me know. It kind of, again, brings all this like, oh, okay, well, he's not desperate, but he sounds like someone that I would enjoy working with, and so I'll reach out. Real quick, as you guys know, I just recently started this podcast. If you could give it a rating with a quick tap of the thumb, that would mean the world to me, and even more importantly, it could help spread the word to a broader audience, which in turn could help change a life. Thank you so much, and let's get back to the show. So if you do this with at least 10 to 20 agents, and yes, this will take some time, but if you do this with a higher volume of agents and the more genuine relationships you build with these agents, guess what? You're going to start to have more deals flow to your inbox and more deals come your way. And if you establish really, really good relationships with a good handful of agents, that is going to be a great acquisition machine. And a lot of these real estate agents, they'll send you deals, before they're even listed, right? If you build good relationships, the people who they know will close. And so after you've done a couple deals with these agents, they get what's called pocket listings, which means they'll get an off-market lead and they would just normally go list it. But because they have a handful of investors in their pocket, they'll pull out that listing, and before they'll put it on the MLS, they'll say, hey, are you interested? And you might get exposure to something or exposure to the opportunity to purchase a property before it's listed on the open market, which obviously is ideal because that reduces competition. In addition to real estate agents, wholesalers can be an excellent source of deals. And the likelihood that you get good deals is going to significantly increase if you find the good wholesalers in your market. And there's always several good wholesalers in every market. There's a lot of bad ones. I'm going to make up a number. I have no idea what it is, but 8 out of 10 are probably not too great, and 2 out of 10 really know what they're doing. It's what they do for a living. They have a lot of experience, and they can get you some good deals. So just like real estate agents, this is going to be a volume game in terms of how many and the quantity that you're reaching out to. But there's a lot fewer good wholesalers than there are good real estate agents. And so if you find the select few, it's going to be It's not like you're finding a needle in a haystack. Some cities have 6, 7, 8,000 real estate agents, and most cities have a small handful of really good wholesalers. And some of the best ways that you can find these really good wholesalers are joining local Facebook investor groups, and then just go spend an hour searching through the history of the Facebook group, right? And see whose names that you keep popping up, and then do some research if you see those consistent names popping up. Another good way is to go to your local meetups. If you go to a few different local meetups, and you'll start to see some familiar faces. A lot of wholesalers will go to those local meetups because they want to meet additional buyers. So you found a wholesaler, what do you say to them? And so very similar to the agent script that we just went through. Hey, my name's Ryan. I found you through wherever I found them. I'm a local investor and I'd like to purchase a flip in the next couple of weeks. Would love for you to send me any current deals that you may have. And most importantly, I'm interested in building a long-term relationship with you. I can close, and I can get these deals done. And so if you want a good, solid buyer, I'm here for you. And I've always found it beneficial to say something like, hey, I don't care what assignment fee that you make. I'm never going to count your money. I'll pay you a $100,000 assignment fee. As long as I can make money on the deal, I'm happy, and I'm not going to count your pockets. The biggest difference with wholesalers is 99% of them are going to charge a non-refundable EMD. And quick side note, the reason they do this is because wholesalers have to protect the interests of their sellers. If they are not the ones closing on a property, they lose control once they assign the contract. And if they assign the contract to a buyer who does not end up closing, guess whose reputation is on the line? The wholesaler, because the wholesaler is the one that's in direct communication with the seller. And so they collect non-refundable EMD because the higher amount of money that they collect, the higher the probability that a buyer is going to actually close, because a buyer's not going to put something in contract and, lose non-refundable money. So that's why that all of the good wholesalers are going to do that. And so that just means you need to expect to do your due diligence before you would sign an assignment contract. But the good thing about wholesalers, again, it's not like something is listed on the MLS. You can be in contact with the wholesaler as long as you have open communication. Hey, let me know before you put it in contract. I'm very interested. If you can get your team out there quickly, a lot of times, sometimes wholesalers, if you can pay what they're asking, then they'll just go ahead and put it in contract. And so the quicker you can get your due diligence done and you're in direct communication with the wholesaler, the higher likelihood that you can do a deal with them. And we mentioned local meetups, and this works for both realtors, wholesalers, contractors. But something that has worked really well for me in every local meetup the first time I went there is there's always someone at the front checking someone in, right? So if the local meetup is paid, then you got to pay somebody, or there's somebody collecting like emails. There's always someone at the front. What I have always done on every new meetup that I go to, I introduce myself. I show genuine interest in the person. I want to get to know who they are. And then I'll say, hey, we haven't met. So, obviously I'm new here. But my experience when I go to these meetups there's always a few big players in the room. And at every meetup, the players are a little bit different. But there's always, important lenders, big investors, big contractors, great real estate agents. And I'm wondering if you can do me a solid and just point those big players out to me so I can prioritize who I talk to for the next 3 hours. And that's worked really well because I make the person at the front feel important because they're like, oh yeah, I got information that, is important information. And then, they'll point out the handful of people that I should go talk to. They'll tell me what they do. And then I can make sure that I go spend time with people who I know I can add value to, who I know can add value to my business. And I don't spend time, just trying to rummage through and meet everybody and figure out who might be beneficial to talk to. So that's something that's worked out really well for me. So I know I made that sound kind of simple in terms of reaching out to realtors and wholesalers. I promise you, if you review what it is that I just went through, those are the exact steps, literally the exact steps down to a very similar script that I used to reach out to realtors and wholesalers in the beginning. And those relationships helped be the gateway to me buying 23 houses in the first 12 months. So if you do those things and you do them in volume and you just do them over and over and over and over, you're going to find people that you can add to your acquisition team, and you're going to get a lot of deals start coming at you. So you've met good realtors, you've met good wholesalers. The third part of how to find deals with no marketing spend is using technology to your benefit. And what I mean is setting up auto searches on a site like Redfin. So this is exactly what I did. I bought the majority of my deals actually using this tactic. But I picked my market and I went on Redfin and I went to the map or the search area. And my suggestion is when you're typing in these searches, you could either target specific counties that are appealing to you. You could target the city. Sometimes you can draw like a circle on the map and target anything that's in those circles. But what you're going to do is you're going to set up keyword searches and one keyword per search. So you're going to set up a whole bunch of searches, 12, 15, maybe even 20 keyword searches. And you're going to pick the keywords that are, the buzzwords that realtors will put in listing descriptions that are very good indicators that's an investor type of property. And get out something to write with, or pull out your phone so you can write in your notes. Here are the keywords I'm going to go over them. I have 12 of them for you. As is, and I would suggest doing that with and without a hyphen, separate searches. Investment, investor, rehab, cash, TLC, motivated, flip, fire damage, contractor, handyman, and fixer. And so those are 12, I guess 13 if you do two as is. And that'll be a really, really good start. You do keyword searches. You set up 13 different keyword searches on Redfin in your area. Every time a new property is listed and one of those words is in the listing description, you're going to get that property emailed to you immediately when it's listed. And actually, there's an option on Redfin. You can choose send it to me immediately or send it to me daily. Always, always choose send it to me immediately, because in this game, speed is king. And you want to move quick, and a lot of times the quicker you move, the higher likelihood you have to get it in contract. And what you can do is, once you start getting these emails to your inbox and you start reviewing these deals, if there are any other keywords that you see consistently popping up in listing descriptions, you can just go add another keyword search to your automated search. This is also a really easy way and kind of a hack to start getting practice underwriting a bunch of deals. I promise you're going to start to get your inbox flooded with emails, and you're going to get a ton of deals sent to you, and you can start to underwrite deals and get to know prices in certain neighborhoods. You can learn how to run your numbers more quickly. And also, when your realtor starts sending you deals and you've already underwritten, a couple hundred deals because you have these auto alerts coming to your inbox all the time, you're going to have more familiarity with the areas because you've already underwritten a whole bunch of deals that are already in these areas. So there you have it. Those are literally the 3 steps that I took that led to me purchasing 23 houses in a span of 12 months. And 22 out of 23 came from one of those lead sources that I just mentioned. One of them I bought from the neighbor. I was renovating one house, and it was very clear that the neighbor's house is in distress. The team went and built a relationship. We ended up buying their house. Which is a quick side note, always be looking for opportunity when you first get your deal. Have your team scour the neighborhood. Anything could be an opportunity, right? We randomly started having a conversation with the neighbor. He wanted to sell. We ended up buying his house. So those are the 3 steps. And to recap very quickly, you are 1, going to figure out geographically where you're going to launch. And you're going to do that by likely starting in your backyard or making sure to pick the closest metropolitan area that has at least 200,000 households. 2, you're going to set up your acquisition team, which you're going to reach out to real estate agents in volume, and you're going to reach out to wholesalers in volume, and you can meet both of them at your local meetups. And 3, you're going to use technology to your benefit by setting up auto searches on a site like Redfin. And so you pick the geographic area that you want, you set up a whole bunch of keyword auto searches, and you're going to start to have a whole bunch of deals emailed to your inbox all the time. I hope that was valuable to you guys. That is literally the blueprint that I used to buy a whole bunch of houses. And so it works. So if you do those things, you're going to start to have some deals. And this is a way you can get deals without any marketing spend. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you guys. Appreciate your attention. Until the next one, I'll see you. Peace.